At the hospital, a doctor is puzzled when he notices an X-ray was ordered for a man who came in with nothing more than a bite on his hand. Curious, he asks Nurse Anna to track down the patient. When Anna checks the system, she's surprised to see the man has already been transferred to intensive care, an unusual move for such a minor injury. After her shift ends, Anna heads home to her husband, Luis. The couple spend the night together, lost in each other's company in the shower, oblivious to a sudden interruption on the TV. A special news bulletin urgently cutting through regular programming. The following morning, Luis wakes to find their neighbor, Vivian, standing silently at the doorway. As she steps into the light, her face is smeared with blood. Alarmed, Luis calls for Anna to phone an ambulance while he cautiously approaches Vivian to help. But in a horrifying moment, Vivian lunges at him and sinks her teeth into his neck. Panicking, Anna shoves Vivian out into the hallway and slams the door shut. She rushes to Luis, trying to stem the bleeding with a pillowcase, but her attempts to call emergency services fail. The lines are all jammed. Outside, Vivian keeps pounding at the door, relentless. Then, the worst happens. Luis dies, but only for a brief moment before reanimating as a bloodthirsty zombie. He attacks Anna, who manages to fight him off and snatch the car keys while he trashes the room in a rage. Anna darts into the bathroom, slipping into the tub in her desperation. She tries the window, but it won't budge. A sudden eerie silence fills the house. Cautiously, Anna calls out to her husband. His answer comes in the form of a violent crash as he bursts through the door. In the nick of time, Anna forces the window open, kicking Luis back as she escapes through it. Outside, chaos reigns. People run through the streets in terror, fires rage, and explosions light up the sky. Anna attempts to get answers from a neighbor, but the terrified man only waves a gun at her, ordering her to stay away. Before she can react, an ambulance barrels down the road, hitting the man and speeding off without stopping. Luis appears again, forcing Anna to jump into her car. He smashes against the window, but falls off as Anna peels away. The streets are a nightmare. Drivers swerve wildly. Some people throw themselves in front of vehicles pleading for help. A radio announcer advises everyone to stay indoors, lock doors and windows, and warns that even military bases have fallen. Anna eventually reaches a highway engulfed in destruction. Explosions erupt, vehicles crash, and zombies feast on the helpless. In the middle of the madness, someone suddenly grabs Anna's car door. She fights them off, but loses control of the car, which careens off the road and slams into a tree. As the zombie outbreak spreads uncontrollably across the globe, authorities scramble to face the unknown terror. They appear on air, offering no answers and no cure. Only confusion and fear. Chaos grips the streets as desperate civilians riot, demanding action from the government. In response, the military moves in, attempting to establish control over the growing unrest and the relentless spread of the undead. Hospitals overflow, buildings erupt in flames daily, and society teeters on the edge of collapse. Amidst this, Anna awakens in a world she no longer recognizes. She's soon confronted by Kenneth, a police officer who forces her to speak, ensuring she's not one of the infected. The two cautiously join forces and soon encounter 3 other survivors. Tension flares instantly. The trio opens fire, mistaking them for zombies until realizing they're human. With the roads choked by hordes of the undead, they decide to seek refuge in a nearby mall. As they attempt to break into the building, a growing swarm of zombies approaches. Kenneth wastes no time, shooting out a lock to gain entry. A lone zombie manages to grab the door before it closes, but Kenneth swiftly kicks it back, finally securing them inside. They restore the mall's lighting, though phone lines remain dead. Spotting a locked store, the group hurls a toilet through the window to gain access. While Anna washes away the blood in a nearby fountain, the others check the entrances. Andre and Michael head for a back exit, where Andre jumps at the sight of a zombie pressed against shatterproof glass. Meanwhile, at an arcade, Michael arms himself with a massive hammer from a game. Lured by strange noises, he investigates, only to be attacked by a zombie. The hammer shatters in the struggle, but Michael manages to grab its handle and drives it through the zombie's skull. Back near the main entrance, disaster strikes as a zombie lunges at Andre's pregnant wife, Luda. Kenneth intervenes, diverting the creature, which knocks him into the fountain. As Kenneth fights for his life, Anna seizes his dropped gun and fires, wounding the zombie's shoulder. It's enough for Kenneth to overpower it. The survivors regroup and scramble into an elevator. Reaching the upper floor, they're met by 3 armed mall security guards who demand they leave. After a tense standoff, Anna convinces them to let the group stay, though their weapons are confiscated. Watching the TV, they witness harrowing images of a world consumed by death and destruction, and learn that destroying a zombie's brain is the only way to kill it. Kenneth clings to hope upon hearing Fort Pastor is still safe. His brother might be there. In the privacy of a bathroom, Andre notices a cut on Luda's arm, but dismisses it as minor. Elsewhere, Anna locates a first aid kit and tends to Kenneth's injury after briefly breaking down under the pressure. Michael suggests reinforcing the mall's weak points and painting a rescue message on the roof. Downstairs, the guards discover a twitching zombie in the fountain, once one of their own, and, with heavy hearts, dispatch him. They sweep the mall for other threats, shooting any remaining zombies. Later, they toss the bodies from the rooftop. From this vantage, they see a town overrun. Spotting movement on a nearby rooftop, they use binoculars to find Andy, a survivor at a gun store. Andy signals that he's alone and gestures toward the sky where a helicopter passes overhead. The group frantically waves, but the chopper ignores them. That night, the guards imprison the group in a store, afraid they'll steal supplies. Michael proposes making an escape, doubting any rescue is coming, though Andre remains hopeful. Kenneth, however, cares only about finding his brother. The following morning, the mall's automatic systems jolt everyone awake with lights and music. The TVs now show nothing but static. Guard Terry heads to disable the system and, encountering Anna, is persuaded to unlock the store so they can use the bathroom. While handling the controls, Terry notices something alarming on the security cameras: a truck approaching the mall. Alerted, the group rushes to the rooftop to debate their next move. Anna insists they should help any survivors, but CJ and Bart are against it. Terry sides with Anna, leading to a confrontation where Kenneth and Michael overpower the guards and seize their weapons. Terry leads the group to the mall's holding cell, while Anna and Luda work together to make a sign, hoping to direct the incoming truck to the back entrance. But before they can get things organized, the vehicle suddenly reverses and crashes into the building. Andre and Michael are forced to head outside, guns drawn, taking down any zombies that get too close. They manage to eliminate several before running out of ammo and retreating. Thankfully, the survivors on the truck are unharmed. It turns out they'd rammed the truck into the wall on purpose so they could climb on and get inside safely. Once everyone's made it in, Anna steps up to check the new arrivals for wounds. Among them is a very ill woman being wheeled in on a wheelbarrow. Kenneth wants to use the truck to head to Fort Pastor, but Steve and Norma quickly crush that hope by revealing that the fort has already fallen to the undead. Frustrated, Kenneth heads up to the roof where he sees Andy at his gun shop across the street. Through a sign, Kenneth breaks the bad news about the fort's fate. Andy responds with dark sarcasm, giving Kenneth a small, rare chuckle. Meanwhile, Anna continues tending to the injured. Terry keeps an eye on the sick woman until she suddenly dies. Anna checks for a pulse, confirms it's gone, and covers the body with a blanket, only for the woman to abruptly sit up, now a zombie. The group scrambles as Anna grabs a fire poker and drives it through the zombie's eye when it gets too close. Remembering what happened to her own husband, Anna warns everyone that being bitten is what causes the transformation. Trouble is, Frank has already been bitten. Anna wants to isolate him, but Michael insists it's safer to put him down before he turns. And Kenneth agrees. Anna hurries to warn Frank, but his daughter Nicole begs for mercy. She's allowed a final goodbye before Frank is locked in a room. Kenneth waits there until Frank turns, confirming their theory, before delivering a fatal shot. As days pass, the group settles into a grim routine. Kenneth and Andy play chess by trading moves on signs. Bart and CJ kill time with card games. Anna watches movies with Michael, and Nicole and Terry stargaze. Steve flirts with Monica when he's not teeing off golf balls from the roof into the zombie horde growing by the day. They communicate requests to Andy via signs, asking him to pick off particular zombies, a task he handles with deadly precision. One evening, the power cuts out. Andre rushes to check on Luda, who's been tied to a bed due to her worsening condition. A small team heads off to fix the generator, but finds blood on the walls and something moving in the dark. Weapons ready, they're relieved when it turns out to be a harmless dog. But moments later, a zombie drops from the ceiling, biting into Bart's neck. The The commotion draws even more zombies. The group makes a break for it, leaving Bart behind. Kenneth and Michael manage to secure a gate. CJ takes out a zombie with a brutal swing, and together they hold off the attackers. With ammo low and the barricade weakening, Michael douses the zombies in fuel and CJ lights them up, turning the hallway into an inferno. Elsewhere, Luda takes her final breath, but when Andre checks her pregnant belly, the baby's still moving. Moments later, Luda reanimates. Andre restrains her mouth with a belt while she gives birth. Norma stumbles upon the scene and immediately opens fire, killing Luda. A panicked Andre returns fire, and both end up dead. The rest of the group rushes in to find Norma dying. Anna confirms she won't turn and checks on the newborn, only to discover it's a zombie too. They have no choice but to end its life. After restoring power, Kenneth declares that waiting for death is worse than death itself. Anna refuses to die in the mall, and Michael reveals 2 buses in the garage, which they can reinforce for an escape. Steve jokes about sailing away on his boat, but the idea of reaching an island catches on. Everyone throws themselves into modifying the buses. Amid the chaos, Anna and Michael grow closer. They plan to pick up Andy, hoping he still has weapons. But Andy signals that he's starving, and Kenneth notices how much weight he's lost. Remembering how the dog was ignored by the zombies earlier, they decide to send it over with supplies and a radio. The dog makes it safely through the horde, but when Andy opens a dog door, zombies push through. He fends them off and secures the door, but when he picks up the radio, he reveals he's been bitten. Nicole panics, hijacks a truck, and races to the gun shop to save the dog. She parks at the entrance while zombies swarm the vehicle. The group listens over the radio as Nicole rescues the dog. Kenneth checks the rooftop and finds Andy's sign now smeared in blood. Andy's turned. A rescue team heads out through the sewers, leaving Steve on watch. They fight their way through the streets, enter the shop, and put down the zombified Andy. They gather weapons and rescue Nicole. CJ creates a diversion by blowing up a fuel tank, letting the group flee. In the sewers, Tucker falls and breaks a leg. CJ stays behind, passing him guns as zombies descend. Despite their efforts, the horde overwhelms Tucker. He pleads for an end, and CJ obliges before escaping. Reaching the mall, they find the entrance barricaded. Zombies are closing in when Anna arrives just in time to let them in. They make a break for the garage, firing back as they go. The group splits between the 2 buses and smashes through the gates. The undead swarm the vehicles, but CJ clears a path with another fuel tank explosion. As they speed through the town, Kenneth spots a zombie clinging to a bus. A sudden swerve throws it off, but causes Glenn to accidentally chainsaw Monica. The bus crashes. The other bus turns around to help, but Steve refuses to assist and ends up attacked by a zombie. Anna, devastated by Glenn and Monica's deaths, turns to find Steve reanimated. She takes him down with a shot. The noise draws a horde. As the group holds them off, Anna retrieves boat keys from Steve's corpse and fights her way back to the bus. They race toward the docks. The bus nearly plunges into the water but gets stuck, giving them a narrow chance to flee. CJ, surrounded, detonates his last explosive, sacrificing himself to save the others. At the boat, Michael reveals he's been bitten. He says goodbye to Anna and stays behind, ending his life with a final shot as they sail away. Anna, Kenneth, Nicole, Terry, and the dog survive. Days later, after their supplies rot and the fuel runs dry, they reach an island, only to find it infested with zombies.